Good afternoon, all. I'd like to call to order the agenda of the special meeting of the Board of Directors for Jamestown Towers, LLC, an affiliate of the Southern Nevada Regional Housing Authority. Madam Clerk, will you take the roll, please?
President Louis Jordan,
Here.
Secretary Dick Siegerblum, Treasurer Fred Herron,
Present.
Director Larry Blackman,
Here.
Director Marissa Brown,
Present.
Director Nancy Bruni,
Present.
Director Richard Churchio, Director Kerry Cox,
Present.
Director Michael Disman,
Present.
Director William McCurdy,
Here.
Director Luciana Turner.
Present.
A quorum is present. This meeting has been properly noticed, and we are in compliance with the Nevada Open Meeting Law.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I move. So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve the agenda. All in favor? Any opposed? The agenda is approved. It's public comment time. Public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters of the agenda that are being taken, actions being taken on. If you wish to be heard, come to the podium and give your name for the record. The amount of discussion as well as the amount of time any single speaker is allowed may be limited. Public comment that is repetitive, slanderous, offensive, and inflammatory amounts to personal attack or interferes with the rights of other speakers is not allowed. Any person who acts in violation of these rules will be excused for the remainder of the meeting. Is there any public comment?
Phyllis Carpenter, 5200 Alpine Place. So if I'm reading this right, it says that you're pulling $3 million out of the CBD, Clark County CBD money for a RAD project that you guys have already been approved and had amounts on. What is the extra $3 million for?
Any other public comment? Seeing no other public comment is closed. The first item on the agenda is the approval of resolution number JDT-2 to enter into a community development block grant agreement with Clark County for additional funds for Jamestown Towers. Frank Stafford will make the presentation.
Good afternoon, Frank Stafford, Director of Development Modernization. Background, staff is requesting the board approval of Jamestown Towers LLC Resolution Number JDT-2, which authorized the president and/or designee to enter into a community development block grant agreement with Clark County to receive additional funding for the rehab of Jamestown Towers apartments. This amount that we received was $3.7 million. The action that we're requesting is staff requests the board to approve Resolution Number JDT-2.
Can you explain what the money is going to be used for?
The funds that we're receiving from CDBG will be used to close the construction gap so that we can get the project finished by July 31st of this year. We had some cost overruns, and this money was available, and we requested to complete that.
And Phyllis, on behalf of Clark County, you're welcome that we are giving $3 million of our hard-earned money to the Housing Authority. So I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Second, any discussion? We'll take the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Citizen participation. Items raised under this portion of the agenda cannot be deliberated or acted upon by the Board of Directors of the LLC until such notices or provisions of the open meeting law have been complied with. If you wish to speak on matters on or off the agenda, please step up to the podium.
So this is our public comment time?
This is for things that are not on the agenda, yes.
Okay, so. Okay, so I want to, okay, Phyllis Carpenter, 5200 Alpine Place. So I was served a 30-day notice on the 6th first, saying that I wrote a disrespectful.
This is, you can do that during the regular board
Okay,
meeting.
that's what I thought.
I'm sorry,
Yeah,
I
okay.
misdirected you. Thank you. No, this is the special meeting. Okay, seeing no other public comment, I'd like to adjourn the meeting. I would now like to call to order the agenda of the special meeting for the Board of Directors of Jamestown Tower Manager, LLC. Madam Clerk, take the roll.
President Louis Jordan,
Here.
Secretary Tig Sigelbaum, Treasurer Fred Herron,
Present.
Director Larry Blackman, Director Marissa Brown,
Present.
Director Nancy Bruni,
Present.
Director Richard Churchio, Director Kerry Cox, Director Michael Disman, Director William McCurdy, Director Luciana Turner.
Present.
A quorum is present. This meeting has been properly noticed, and we are in compliance with the Nevada open meeting law.
Is there a motion to approve the agenda? It's been moved. Is there a second? Been moved and properly second. All in favor? Any opposed? The agenda is approved. So now public comment time for this item. Public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters on the agenda for action. If you wish to be heard, come to the podium and give your name for the record. The amount of discussion as well as the amount of time any single speaker is allowed may be limited. Public comment that is repetitive, slanderous, offensive, and inflammatory, amounts to personal attack, or interferes with the rights of other speakers is not allowed. Any person who acts in violation of these rules will be excused for the remainder of the meeting. Are there any public comments? Seeing none, the next item on the agenda is the approval of resolution number JDTM2 to enter into a community development block grant agreement with Clark County for additional funding for Jamestown Towers. Frank Stafford will make the presentation.
Good afternoon. Background, staff is requesting board approval of Jamestown Towers Manager LLC, resolution number JDTM-2, authorizing president and/or designee to enter into a community development block grant agreement with the Clark County to receive additional funding for the rehabilitation of Jamestown Towers apartment. Action requested, staff requests the board to approve resolution number JDTM-2.
Mr. President, I move to approve this agenda as presented.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded that this item be approved. All in favor? Any opposed? The item carries. Thank you. Item is approved. Citizen participation. Is there any citizen participation on items that are not on the agenda? Seeing none, the meeting is adjourned. I would now like to call to order the agenda or the meeting for the special board meeting for Affordable Housing Program, Inc. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
President Louis Jordan,
Here.
Secretary Tig Sigelbaum, Treasurer Fred Herron,
Present.
Director Larry Blackman, Director Marissa Brown,
Present.
Director Nancy Bruni, Director Richard Churchio, Director Kerry Cox, Director Michael Disman, Director William McCurdy, Director Luciana Turner.
Present.
A quorum is present. This meeting has been properly noticed, and we are in compliance with the Nevada open meeting law.
Thank you. Is there approval, a motion to approve the agenda? It's been motioned and properly seconded. All in favor? Any opposed? Hearing none, the agenda is approved. Public comment on this item? Seeing none, public comment time is closed. The item of the approval of AHP Resolution Number AHP 40 will be presented by Mr. Stafford.
Good afternoon again. Background, staff requests board approval of affordable housing programs, resolution number AHP-40, authorizing the president and/or designee to enter into a community development block grant agreement with Clark County to receive additional funding for the rehabilitation of Jamestown Towers apartments. Action requested, staff requests the board to approve resolution number AHP-40.
Motion to approve.
It's been motioned and properly second. All in favor? Any opposition? The ayes carry, motion approved. Is there any public participation on items that are not on this agenda? Seeing none, I adjourn this meeting. Mr. Chairman, I turn it over to you, sir.
Good afternoon. This is the meeting of the Housing Authority for April 17th, 2025. We'll start with, do we do the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes, you can do it.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, All right. This is the first period for public comment. Oh, so do roll call first.
Chairperson Tick Sigerblom,
Here.
Vice Chairperson Nancy Bruni,
Present.
Commissioner Larry Blackman, Commissioner Marissa Brown, Commissioner Richard Churchio, Commissioner Carrie Cox, Commissioner Michael Disman, Commissioner William McCurdy, Commissioner Luciana Turner. A quorum is present. This meeting has been properly noticed, and we are in compliance with the Nevada Open Meeting Law.
All right, this is the first period for public comment. Anyone wishing to speak about any item on the agenda, come forward, state your name, spell your last name, and identify the item on the agenda. Seeing no one, we'll close the period for public comment and turn it over to the, oh, we're going to, do I do that? Okay. We'll turn it over to, now we'll ask for a motion on the minutes.
Motion to approve the meeting minutes of the board meeting of February 20th, 2025.
There's a motion and a second. Cast your vote. Aye. Aye. Any nays? Hearing none, that motion passes. Okay, next will be the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda.
All right. There's a motion and a second for the agenda. Cast your vote.
Aye.
Anyone nay? Hearing no nays, motion passes. All right, so now it's time for Mr. Jordan.
Thank you, we've been quite busy since we last got together. I think one of the first things I want to highlight is our responsiveness to the board and in making some attempts to modernize and have you be a little more comfortable. So hopefully the chairs are comfortable.
Thank you. And whoever purchased these chairs, can you come to the county?
Okay. A few things that staff and I have been involved in. Last week I had the pleasure of being invited to a very small and quaint meeting with Senator Rosen and a few thought leaders here in Southern Nevada to talk about housing and housing solutions. And so oftentimes there's this question of what's going on in Washington and how is it affecting us locally. And there's a pretty similar response. We don't really know. Right now, things are as they were yesterday. From a funding standpoint, the continuous resolution is saying that we'll get funded at the same levels as we were funded last year. But we had some really, really good conversation with the senator. Obviously, we talked about more vouchers. We also talked about more collaboration, collaboration among, the different levels of government. And it was pretty evident that she was pleased that the Housing Authority has time and time again demonstrated that we do well when you give us something, when you give us an opportunity to be at the Choice Neighborhood Initiative from the federal government, Home Means Nevada from the state, the coveted, community housing funds we get from the county. We do a really, really good job of working with what we get. And so as we get more time to sit down with our delegation, we'll update the board. We had 2 groundbreakings, the Duncan and Edwards groundbreaking and the Sunrise groundbreaking. We actually did it all in one, not to forget the groundbreaking we did this morning on Bennett Plaza 2. Really showing strong effort and partnership. I noted to staff, it was really good to see our city partners, our county partners. We even had other developers there that in your various roles you support in their work, but it was just good to see people come together and celebrate the groundbreaking of Marion Bennett 2. Let's see, we were fortunate enough to attend the 2025 North Las Vegas State of the City, and Commissioner Churchill, thank you for the invite, and and thank you for the work you're doing over there with the mayor. I also had a chance to meet with with Councilman Churchill's board last night and give a presentation. And I was very specific in my comments. As I go to the county and go to the city, sometimes I think we lose sight. This is all of your housing authority. You know, this is a regional effort, and I wanted to be mindful that we are the housing authority collectively. Commissioner Turner, congratulations on being appointed for 4 more years on our board. We really appreciate it, and glad to have you stick around for a little longer. Yeah, had an opportunity to attend the Micro Business Park groundbreaking that Commissioner McCurdy held, and we appreciate being able to be there. And once again, happy belated birthday. Commissioner Sher had a birthday yesterday. Something in my
He's
years.
29.
You talk about things in which we do as executive directors that I don't think we all get to do, but it was really an honor for me. I went up to Carson City a couple weeks ago and actually got a chance to testify supporting the governor's housing bill. The bill is still being discussed, but it was very, very important that it be noted that we here in Southern Nevada support opportunities to bring more housing, and so that was exciting. From the means of communications, if you will, next month, Kathy Thomas and I are going to host a radio show, KCEP 88.1. We're going to give just a means of just getting the word out. We know that when we're doing good stuff, it isn't always heard, but whenever something doesn't go well, the whole world hears about it. And so we're going to use this this platform to really talk about things we're doing, how we're doing it, and I'll give you all some early warning. We may call you every once in a while and have you come on as guest speakers and just really help the community know, again, that this is all of our housing authority. See, you talked about that, did that. Paula, can you come up and speak about the Community Development Block Grant Award?
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I'm Paula Tucker, Director of Supportive Services for the Housing Authority. We received a $43,000 grant from the Community Block Grant funds from the Clark County. Actually, Dagny Stapleton was the one that actually helped us, and we are using the funds to purchase Chromebooks for our Jobs Plus program participants for the 6 communities that were represented in that grant, 5 of them on the historic west side and 1 of them on the east side. So we actually have rebranded that program to be called Flex, so you guys probably have seen the signs on some of the buildings already. We're hoping to have a grand opening soon, like the first week of June, once we get a couple of big programs out of the way, the Affordable Housing Forum and our Family Day. So looking forward to that. We've already kind of ramped up and getting people enrolled, so that's what the program is for.
Paula, while you're up, why don't you speak a little bit about the book Rich Environment that we're involved in?
So last year, we started our partnership with the Book Rich Environment, where we received about 3,000 books, which we distributed over the first 9 months of 2024. And the goal is to get hands into the books of our residents that are age 0 to 18. So we did get those books out, like I said, last year in 9 months. So this year, we requested more books, and we got 5,000. If you come down to my suite, you'll probably see them all over the place. But last Saturday, we participated in the Our Mother's Garden Book Festival at the Bodo Farm, which is one of our Choice Neighborhood Initiative partners and a great community partner on the historic west side. So we distributed books at our booth. The great thing is that we were pretty popular because we were the only vendor that was giving away books where everyone else was selling books. So we had a lot of books for the parents and the kids there, so it was a really great event. I wasn't able to be there because I was still out of town from our Philadelphia trip to visit Power Corps, but I heard it was a really great event. So we're excited that we were able to be a part of that.
Very good. Thank you,
All right,
Paul.
thank you so much.
Did you have a question?
I do. Ms. Tucker, I have a question and then a comment. Do we have a partnership with Spread the Words?
I'm not familiar with Spread the Words,
Okay,
but if you can.
It's an, Yeah, it's a nonprofit that collects and then redistributes books. They have thousands, probably millions. So we should connect you. And then just so you know, the city has a mayor's fund, and we get a lot of donated Chromebooks or laptops or even desktops. So when you have a need next time, if you'll just check, and I'll see if we have any.
Okay, thank you so much.
And also, the county's having a job fair on May 1st. I'm not sure if we've reached out to you, but if not, we need to get this information to all your residents. That it's a great job fair. It's at the it's at the convention center. And
Okay, I'll work with Javier to make sure, Javier, to make sure we get the flyers.
Yeah, we have like 120 employers, about 10,000 jobs available, so it's a
Perfect.
great opportunity.
Thank
So
you so
we'll
much.
send out a e-blast, and we
I
already
was just
did.
getting ready to say that. There's an email that already went out about that.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
And we usually put it in all our lobbies at all of our properties to make sure that it's on heavy rotation, so.
Fantastic,
Okay,
thank
all right,
you.
thank you.
Thank you. Just wanted to remind the commissioners that you should have a copy of the newsletter, and you'll see some other exciting things we're doing. A couple other things. The Bring Your Child to Work Day. Want to talk about that a little bit? So Angela from HR.
Good afternoon, Angela White, Director of Human Resources. On April 24th, SNRHA is going to be participating in the National Take Your Child to Work Day. This initiative is especially meaningful as we are bringing it back to this organization. It marks the return of something we've hosted in the past, and notably, we have at least 2 employees right now who came as children who are going to be able to bring their children this time. So it's a real full circle moment for our organization, highlighting our commitment to family and community. We have 32 children registered, ages 9 to 18. The day is going to begin with a breakfast with Mr. Jordan and the Chiefs, followed by department presentations talking about what everyone does, how they got into public service, those types of things. Activities include building marshmallow and toothpick homes, issuing mock ID badges, guided tour of some of our facilities for the older youth, swag bags with some really great merch for the kids, and a fun and engaging photo bingo. So we're going to wrap up the event with snow cones for employees and their kids, and it promises to be an exciting and enriching experience for our staff and their children that are participating, reinforcing our mentorship, education, and community connection initiatives. Any questions?
And I assume the board's invited to the breakfast too.
Absolutely.
You know, I was just about to say, Mr. Chairman, of all those things, please pick and choose what you want to come to. I need help that day, so please come on. And I think it's also a good opportunity. There's an old saying that says, what they see is what they'll be. And to have young people come, not only us as staff, but you as, you know, as in your capacities and as volunteers as well. So we would like to have you come by. We'll be available all day. As we continue to grow the organization, it's obvious that we need partners. And so I'd like to have Rosie Lane come up and talk about the whole project-based voucher process and how we seek to partner with individuals during that process.
Thank you, Mr. Jordan. Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Rosa Elaine Garcia, Director of Housing Programs. And I'm going to share with you about the project-based vouchers. Next. So partner with SNRHA, partner with the Southern Nevada Regional Housing Authority. Developers cannot apply for vouchers directly to HUD, so they have to do it through the Housing Authority. So the Housing Authority selects projects that aligns with our goals, and then we issue a request for proposal, an RFP, with a specific deadline. And then the properties or developers that qualify or that they could apply, the properties may be new constructions, it could be rehabilitation projects, or existing units that must meet, of course, the quality standards. The application requirements for private developers, they will need to give us information about the property details, location, size, layout, financing plan, development timelines, targets, the population that they are going to be serving, and evidence of site control or ownership, and plans to comply with fair housing and accessibility standards. Once all the applications are received, the selection process is the Housing Authority evaluates all the applications received, and we will be looking into community impact, cost effectiveness, readiness to proceed, long-term affordability, and we had to make sure that it aligns with the Housing Authority goals and the local housing needs, of course. And then once they are selected, they can get into a housing assistance payment contract that could be 15 to 20 years or even longer. Once they submit the application and once they are approved, they enter into a housing assistance payment contract that we call it HAP with SNRHA. And after that, unfortunately, they still have to submit more paperwork for us. So this contract outlines, this hub is going to outline the terms of the project-based voucher assistance. It will include the rent limits, the tenant eligibility requirements, and then they will have to prepare some other documents such as environmental reviews, subset layering assessments as part of the final approval process. Bonus opportunities for private developers. So supportive services housing is a huge priority, especially when it's tied to serving vulnerable populations like people that experience homelessness, veterans, people with disabilities, people that have experienced domestic violence, as well as individuals with health issues, chronic health or behavioral health needs. What are the benefits for the private developers? Well, stable long-term revenue, so they will be guaranteed rent for the next 10, 20 or more years. It will increase the project viability. Projects with project base are often more attractive to investors and lenders because it reduces risk, right? They have this income coming. And then the project base can help developers qualify for low-income housing tax credits and other funding sources. So there's quite a few benefits, and there are more benefits for the private developers. Why project-based partnership matters to Southern Nevada Regional Housing Authority? Well, it allows us to do more with less. We can expand our housing access, we can promote equity, and we can strengthen community ties. So by partnering with private owners through project-based, SNRHA can maximize our resources, support long-term affordability, and better serve Southern Nevadans' most vulnerable communities. So. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention one thing. Currently, we have 8 partners that we're working with, and we have currently 454 units with those partners, and there will be coming some in the future. 229 more will be will having more units with those partners. So this is currently how our programs spread. So 87% of our vouchers are tenant-based vouchers and 13% are project-based vouchers. Out of those 13%, 5% are project-based and 8% are RAD. This percentage does not exclude some of the units that are not capped by the 20% restriction. And the next slide is the future projects, and I'm going to let Sydney. Sydney, are you there?
I am. Hello, can everyone hear me?
Sure. Hold on, Sydney. Somebody has a question. Yes,
The
Commissioner.
87%, is that were non-PBV? Is that like HCV
Correct.
vouchers?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, that was the
Go
only
ahead,
question.
Sydney. Thank you.
Hello, good afternoon, Board of Commissioners. My name is Sydney Jones-Ratliff, and I'm with Alica Consulting, and I've been working with the Housing Authority in planning and managing the PBV units. So this spreadsheet or chart just shows how many total ACC units we have, how many of these units are currently attached to a PBV contract but exempt from the overall program cap, which is 20 to 30% depending on what the project has to offer. And then that last section at the bottom shows how many units we currently have under contract and how many are available still for project basing. So the piece that most of you probably are interested in is how many units would SNRHA be able to project base? And that's that last line on that chart for your review.
So are you saying 2,500 we could still do?
That is correct. So as of 2025, 2,858 vouchers are available for project basing. The issue, though, is that
We don't have the vouchers.
2,858 available, right? They're fully leased right now.
Correct.
Okay, so I apologize. So explain that to me. So you said the last line was something? I know, but
Those
but
are
you
the
said-
vouchers that would be available because we have a cap of the 20% or 30% based on what we have currently.
I know, but we'll start right there. So 20% or 30%, that's a lot, that's a big difference. So which is it, 20% or 30%?
So there are certain units that are capped at the 30%, and there are certain groups that are capped at the 20%. But the issue, Commissioner, is that we don't have vouchers to offer to
No, I
project
understand,
base.
but every month we gain more. We could have access to more vouchers, right, as people come off the rolls?
Oh, yes, but we have commitments with the special programs. We have commitments with the work currently that we need to provide those vouchers.
Okay, so do we have a plan for how we're going to get to the 2,500 if we are?
We could, if we would ask or we apply for more vouchers.
But no, I'm saying, I thought if, just based on the vouchers we already have, we could, over time, get to the 2,500. Is that not true?
We're currently at 99% utilization, so we would have to take away from the current general population or special programs, which we cannot do. We have to serve them.
Are you sure? Because I thought Mr. Jordan told me that as people come off the rolls, some of those could be assigned to be project-based vouchers.
Yes, but we have not, we have the other commitments first. We have to do first the special programs, veterans, former foster youth, mental health. So we have those commitments first in order for us to be able to convert
Okay,
project
do we
base.
have a list of what all those are?
Oh, yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
all right, so anyway, I don't want to get into the weeds today, but we need to have more detail on this, because my understanding was, over time, we could get more project-based vouchers, which would then give us the flexibility to go out in the community and try to partner.
So, Tommy, can you go to the previous, so I can, so you see the 87% and the 13% on project base, we would have to take away from the 87% in order to convert them to project based.
But can't we do that? I mean, they're not all assigned for veterans and things like that, are they?
No, they're not all assigned, but everybody, it's up to 100% utilization.
I understand that, but every month, people come off, so that means there's extra vouchers that come up every month, right? We don't have to
Commissioner,
put those-
you're correct. We lose
Yes.
about 70 a month. Sydney, can you explain, given the fact that the chairman is absolutely correct, we have attrition 60 to 70 vouchers a month, and then we have the special programs. I think what's happening is that while we lose folks, we haven't gotten new voucher. The voucher limit hasn't changed. But Sydney, can you explain why, given where we are now, the fact that we have attrition, and how that plays into the special programs, that doesn't allow us to say we can immediately start partnering with that 2,500?
Right. So we do have some commitments. As Rosa mentioned, we do have some units under a HAP, which is an agreement to enter into a HAP. So we have some units set aside for that we are going to use some of that attrition for. But back to your point, Mr. Jordan, as of in a year, we lose about 840 tenant-based vouchers. So at an attrition rate of about 70 per month, there will be vouchers available to project-based, but they're just not available yet, but there will be. So it is a time issue.
Right, but that's the whole point. We want to try to get ahead of this and start looking at how we can take advantage of those, and do we want to set those aside? But the ones you said, there are some already committed, you're saying?
Yes.
Do we have a list of who, that have projects that have been built, but that have been committed to?
Yes, we do.
Okay, we have a future presentation on that.
Yes.
And then also the ones that we're already using. So now I have some questions about so can they, if we have a housing build, or an apartment building that's going to have high income, middle income, can they also have project-based vouchers, are they commit a certain number of their units for affordable people?
Absolutely.
And ideally, that's what we would like to do.
Yes, absolutely, yes.
All right. And on that, is it how much a month or how much a year do they get? That's the question I always get when I talk to developers is how much is actually going to be, can they use for financing? Can they assume is going to be attributable to that unit, if we know?
So if I'm understanding the question and the request, Mr. Chairman, you're saying, team, I need to know down the road, what can we set aside to go out to after the special programs, what can we set aside to go out to the developer community and say, if in fact you chose to put affordability in your market rate development or even to support your affordable housing development, what can the Housing Authority make available to support this effort?
So I guess how much is each voucher worth when you go to the bank and say, I have 50 vouchers? How does the bank account for that as far as the total package, the lasagna package?
We can put a detailed report.
average cost.
Yeah,
All right,
we can do that.
we need to get into the weeds on that, but we can do that at a later point.
Very good.
But the point is, we do have flexibility, we are doing this, and going forward, we could have more. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you. Yes.
I have one question. So you mentioned that the time is 15 to 20 years. Who decides if there could be a possible extension? Is that something that HUD decides, or could we?
No, that's the Housing Authority can decide that.
Okay.
And Rosa, you want to give some examples of some of our partners that we have right now who have project-based, like the Blind Center?
So currently we have Nevada Hand is one of our partners, Ovation, Global, the Blind Center. Sorry,
Well, that's,
a blank.
those are a few, yeah.
Yeah, those are a few.
And we have VASH, quite a few VASH set-asides as well.
Correct. Yes.
So,
And that would be VAT as veterans?
It's the veterans, right?
Okay, is that a special apartment complex for veterans, or is
We
that just?
do. We have a couple of more. We have three that are set aside especially for veterans. Yes.
But to your question about special department, no, they're all over the valley. We partner, the VASH, the Veterans Association, does the selection process, if you will. Then they'll send us individuals after they've been screened or sorted. They'll send them to us, and then we'll help them with the housing piece. The Veterans Administration will then add the case management that goes along with it.
So I apologize, but I'm
That's
still
good.
trying to understand. So if it's an apartment complex and we say have 50 vouchers in a building of 200, are the actual units that are assigned for us? Or does that just mean that of all the people that live there, 50 of those units, depending on what they are, could ultimately could use vouchers?
So let's say, for example, one of the units is Patriots. With Patriots, we have a number of vouchers assigned to anybody, regular participants, and we have a set-aside vouchers exclusively for veterans.
Yeah, but I'm saying, are there actual apartments in the building that are for vouchers, or could a voucher be used for any apartment?
It depends how it is in our contract. We have some contracts that is specific for specific units. 205, 206, 203, those are all specific for project base. We have some that are flexible, which, for example, right now we're having some of the veterans that are what we call as zero HAP. So we're not paying any of the HAP because their income is 100%. So those units, we're not going to ask them to move out in another unit so we can use project base that one. No. So it's flexible, so we can select another unit.
Okay, and how do we screen the people who are going to get those units?
Oh, we have an eligibility department that does all the screening for the project, for all the projects.
Okay, is that under you?
Yes?
Okay, so we can get a full detail of how that works too.
Okay, absolutely.
I apologize, but hopefully we can have this a continuing.
Absolutely. We'll have it on the next month's
Any
agenda.
other questions? No? All right, great, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Very good. Thank you, Rosie Lane. And then the final thing on my agenda today, wanted to remind you all that you're invited to attend and participate in our third annual Affordable Housing Forum, which is coming up on May 1st. And it's in that afternoon. Mr. Chair, we know that you're busy with the job fair that morning, so we're going to get started.
But I'll be there.
But as soon As soon as you walk in, we're gonna.
I'll be
give
there
you
for
the mic.
lunch. I never miss a lunch.
Yeah, we'll give you the mic when you walk in. And on that note, I wanted to thank both you, Commissioner McCurdy, Commissioner Bruni, for the generous donations that we received from both the city and the county. So thank you very much to support the forum.
Great.
All right, and that concludes my report.
All right, looks like the next thing is item 6, which is approval of a request to write off outstanding tenant accounts. Do we have a report, or we just, okay, there's a motion to approve
Second?
and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That motion passes. All right, so item 7 would be acknowledgement of our departed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Since our last meeting, the following residents have passed on. I'm going to read their names and ask for a moment of silence afterwards. Since our last meeting, we lost Carolina Simmons, Donna Lynn, William Haskell, Jane Sherraro, Andrea Whittington, Samuel Hollins Jr., Jimmy Rohn, Lawrence Carroll, Marsha Holt, Donna Barnesworth, George Williams, Michael Bowman, Vernice Hayes, Placita Nelson, Marcia Ederman, David Ware, and Anthony Gray. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, number 8, we're going to approve a resolution to allow SNRHA to enter into a community development block grant with Clark County for additional funds. I think this is the 4th time we've done the same money, so this money's getting spread around. Thank you, Frank.
Frank Stafford, Director of Development Modernization. Background, Executive Director is requesting the board to approve Southern Nevada Regional Housing Authority Resolution Number SNRHA 138, which authorizes the Executive Director and/or his designee to enter into a community development block grant agreement with Clark County to receive additional funding for the rehabilitation of Jamestown Towers apartment. Action requested, the Executive Director requests the board approval of Resolution Number SNRHA-138.
Motion to approve resolution number SNRHA 138.
There's a motion and second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That motion passes.
Before we go into the next item, I wanted to let the board know that the media folks you see in the room are our media folks. They're filming footage for our 15th annual. This is the 15th year of the merger of the housing authorities, and we're going to have a special presentation at the Affordable Housing Forum. And so, just in case you were wondering, not worried, wondering who they were, they're just getting footage so that at the forum, as well as other mediums, we can celebrate the 15 years of us being together as a regional housing authority.
That's great. Anytime there's a camera, those of us who are elected get nervous.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Number 9, the request to extend the executive director's current contract. Mr. Bruni.
Motion to approve to extend the executive director contract, which is in the backup item.
Are we having a discussion about it?
Well, we'll take it as a motion and and then have discussion, right?
Okay. Yes. All right, there's a motion. I've seconded the motion. All right, so now discussion on the contract.
Can you explain, please, the executive director's contract, or what you call the contract?
Yes, I won't read it. It is in our packet, but the general terms are the executive director contract. In the first year, the salary is $355,000. It's a 3-year contract. In the second year, the executive director will be entitled to the same COLA that was in the employee's contract and a merit of up to 2.5%. In the third year, the executive director will be entitled to the same COLA as the employees and a merit increase of up to 2.5%. At the end of the 3-year period, the executive director will be eligible for a bonus of up to 3%. The executive director is entitled to or will receive a housing allowance of $12,000 in each of the 3 years, for a total of $36,000.
Is that housing or car?
Sorry, car.
Hopefully you don't have to live in your car.
The amount you said was not correct.
The amount was not correct?
3 years, you're correct.
Okay.
3 years, okay.
And I would just say that I think the executive director's done a fantastic job, how he's turned this agency around. We are so proud of where we are today. But when you look at the salary is very generous. The school board, head of the school board, which has 20,000 employees and $3 billion, she's making $385,000. So this is definitely within the ballpark. We looked around the country. This salary is also competitive with around the country. So I think it meets what Mr. Jordan has done for us, and hopefully the 3 years means he's going to stick around. And during our conversations, he says he wants to stay here until he retires. So you're going to outlive me. So.
Well, I guess it's all relative, but I don't, through the chair, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I did my own deep dive since we didn't have the meeting last month on this percentage, and to me it appears, I'm okay with the first year because it's 10%, and that's what you brought him on 2 years ago with 10%. But then you go from 10% to 3%, and you don't even know, I mean, it appears to me that 10 and 3 don't match because of the fact that you're talking about a 3% increase when you're beginning with 10, so you're telling them to take a 7% cut. And that doesn't match for me. And I'm only speaking for me. I went around and I looked at some of the other, I'm not worried about who runs the school system because they're not bringing any money to any place. They're just bringing their bodies and they're being paid. What this man has done for this organization and the multi-million dollars that he's brought here is just phenomenal. And to cut his pay or cut his opportunity with no bonus annually is basically, I found it insulting because of the fact that there are organizations, and I did my homework because there are, for instance, Columbus, Ohio pays their director $500,000. $500,000, and he's brought in millions of dollars. Now, if Mr. Jordan just asked us, and he can't speak, so my whole deal is I believe in performance, I believe in excellence, I believe in rewarding people that do great things. He's going beyond the call of duty. And just let me say, very quickly, because I know you all want to get out of here and go eat, I'm going to give you just a piece of what I got. The former 3 years ago, this place was in a complete shambles. I mean, just completely. It was done to the degree that the feds had to come in and were threatening to take over because of the shenanigans that were going on here. People wouldn't sit on this board. He brought us credibility, first of all. He brought us credibility, and then he exceeded it. We got some other numbers, and I'm going to look down to...
I'd like to chime in, if you don't
Please.
mind. I, too, agree with Commissioner Blackman as far as a 2.5 increase in comparison to what he was brought on is definitely a slap in the face. Mr. Jordan has done a tremendous job with turning this agency around. He has brought millions of dollars. He has done great things for the employees and the staff at this community and the people that live in our community. And to present all of his well-done work with a 8% pay cut, I don't think that he wants that. I don't think that that shows that we're appreciative of the job that he has done here. I think that we should reconsider that 2.5% for at least 5, in my opinion, and and kind of give him, if he's eligible for the same percentage as the other employees that work, between that 5 and 8%, I think we should give him the opportunity to continue to show how great he is. He has planted great seeds, and he needs to be able to see the fruits of his labor. And I think that we should be able to give him what he's worth. We have a slide that we put together that has some major accomplishments that he has obtained since he's been on this at this agency. He's improved SNRHA's overall brand image and reputation. He's improved communications and interactions with the stakeholders such as the board, HUD, OIG, county agencies, media, landlords, residents, and other participants. He has improved service delivery. He has improved workplace satisfaction and engagement. SNRHA has received $117 million in competitive funding, state and federal. The Home Means Nevada funds, we have received $67 million since he's been here. The Choice Neighborhood Grant and fundings, we've received $50 million since he's been here. The Jobs Plus funding has been up to $3 million. In 2024, SNRHA was the only housing authority in the nation to receive both the CNI and the Jobs Plus grant. The project-based voucher overlay will result in SNRHA receiving $2.5 to $5 million per year starting this year in 2025. SNRHA will also receive $19 million in developer fees for over the next 5 to 6 years. Over 800 new units to be developed over the next 8 years. Over 800 units will be rehabbed in the next 5 years. We have created he has created the pre-apprentice program. The landlord partnership programs, we have a total of 3,000 landlords, 55 new landlords, and 107 new units have been added. He's also improved relationships with HUD and successfully completed and implemented compensation and salary surveys, successfully settled union contracts, no audit findings in the last 2 years, bolster community engagement and partnership. We've had 3 affordable housing forums. The Rose Foundation growth between 2000 and 2021 has been 165,000 in donations, and between 2021 and 2025, we have 293,000 in donations. So the numbers are definitely speaking as far as what Mr. Jordan is able to do, and I think we need to pay him for what he's worth.
If I may speak.
Yes, please.
First of all, I was here before Mr. Jordan became the director. And I came in under, I guess, a lot of confusion, and they were settling things. Mr. Jordan came into an open, competitive, a recruitment. He was interviewed, and he was selected. I heard the city councilwoman today say at a groundbreaking ceremony, you did exactly what you said you would do. And I'm not going to tell you if anybody would have taken the job because I understood the mission. Now, I don't know when Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan were at their heyday, I don't think nobody took them out when they was about to, win that NCAA or NAA, whatever it is. They did not take them out the game. And for me, I would like to see him continue longer than a 3-year contract because there are so many projects that he has helped begin, and I would like to see him actually earn more of the merit. If we're going to align with employees' contract, I think he should be able to earn the same merit along with his team, the staff. The culture has changed here in this establishment. And I appreciate the people that he's brought on to make this agency successful. Do we have room for improvement? Absolutely. However, I know that we do a better job of housing people than we do unhousing them. Then we offer them resources to make sure that this happens. So the idea of having a very, I would say, wise businessman at the helm of such a agency, and you can do the numbers. I think we have the highest in the country. Okay, so he is the man for the job at this present time. And I've said to my colleagues, do an open search. See if there's anyone better, because I want to get my money's worth. I want to get my money's worth. And when I took the tours and I see things that change and things that are said in these meetings and the money we're spending, and I can go on a tour of Las Vegas and look at our properties and see what's being done, I know he's responsible steward. So I appreciate that, and for my elected officials, I understand that this might be a conflict with the monies or this or that, but at the end of the day, if any one of you would sit in that seat, we would give you no less than what you deserve. At the end of the day, I believe that he is entitled to having the same alignment with the merit up to 7% if he produces. If he does not produce, then he's not entitled to what we give him beyond that. But looking at our competitor and partner, I think the total benefit package for the director of Nevada Hen is over $500,000. So if our competitor is paying their director more, and I know we have more to do here. So I'm just going to ask that maybe that can be an extension of that contract, because I believe there's too many projects on the table with the team that he has, and he has the momentum. Let's consider, let's get our money's worth, because we know previously you get what you pay for. And at the end of the day, I think he has the intent, the integrity, and he is the man that is doing this job, because no one else took it. No one else dived in and got some of the weeds out, because nobody wanted to do the dirty work. Once the dirty work is good and everything is shining, now everybody want to, oh, I did that. But when it was over here, nobody was taking responsibility for it. And I knew that as a resident. And now I'm here as a commissioner. And I'm thankful for that opportunity, and I would like to see us work better together, elected officials and appointed commissioners, to make sure that we are keeping this agency in mind and moving forward for the residents. Thank you.
I'd like to make a brief comment. I don't know how, with the work that Director Jordan has done, that it seems like we always end up this same place, fighting to get him money, to which he has obviously proved to everyone here he's entitled to and has performed enough to receive. I don't know why that becomes such an issue. Now we're fighting to keep him from getting less money than he's already getting. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. The man has revolutionized this whole operation. When I came in here, I was like amazed at all the things that has happened. And I've been an executive director. I've been a CEO. I've watched how this operation and this program that we have has turned into a real treasure. So you ask yourself, why? Why all of a sudden has that happened? And then you have the people on this side that fight hard. Let's pull it back, let's pull it back. Well, so-and-so's not making this money. So-and-so didn't have the job that this individual had to accomplish. It's obvious why. I just can't understand what's behind pulling him back, pulling him back, pulling him back, and the man just keeps producing. I think by now, personally, I'd say to hell with all of y'all left. It's just ridiculous. I just don't understand. You know, it's like we cannot give him this because so-and-so is getting that. That's irrelevant. We have to base it on his production. And we say, well, has he earned it? He did more than earn what he said he would do. He surpassed what he said he would do. And still moving, and put together a first-class team of staff that just performs, man. These folks are coming up with things. When I look at the individuals that is on that team, you just have to smile. They produce. He has trained the staff. He has given everyone that I've come in contact the feeling of pride that we are moving. We have other states that are looking at what we're doing. And our city, our county itself has become revolutionized. Everybody's looking at Nevada now, at Las Vegas. Well, we need to be, I guess we could just float along with it, but we want to be right in the middle there, and we're helping to build it and to make it grow. And we're doing that because we have a Super Bowl administrator that's really driving us. Why do we spend so much time trying to pull our success back? It just doesn't make sense. So regardless of what decision, I heard that he was told he can't go out if his income is at a certain level. He can't go out on his own when he's off seeking other work. The man's got it in his blood. Some people have it. Someone I heard mention about Kobe and a Michael. Some people just have it. And he's one of those. And if he can impart his services to help someone else that doesn't conflict with what we're doing, how do we have the audacity to tell him, as a part of our agreement, you can't go nowhere else to provide the services that we're not willing to pay you extra to do? That's ridiculous.
If I may finish, please,
No, wait,
Oh, you're
wait,
done. I'm sorry.
let me finish,
I apologize.
I'm concluding. Okay. In conclusion, I think that we should be very, very proud and pleased that we have an active and performing administrator who, if you call him and cite a problem to him and he said he's going to call you back, he'll call you back.
Yeah.
I know that doesn't happen as a rule of thought. People just don't do that. They say, well, I'll get back to you. And they don't get back to you. He will. So keep that in mind when you're spending all your time trying to pull back on his performance and his income. That's all I have to say.
Commissioner Bruni, and then
Thank you. I want to start by just making sure we're clear about the facts. The executive director is not taking a pay cut. We have not reduced his salary. He is starting at $355, which represents a 5% increase from where we ended. He will get a 2.5% merit for years 2 and 3 and is eligible for a 3% bonus, which if you add all that together is 8%. So no one's rolling back his salary, just to be clear. Okay. The executive director, since he started the first contract, has had about over a 40% increase in his salary from year 1 to where we are today. So to the point that we haven't compensated him, 42% in 3 years, I think is very reasonable, if not borderline fiscally irresponsible. The end of this 3 years, if he gets all of the merit that he's eligible for and the maximum 3-year 3% bonus, including the car allowance, his package will be a total of over $1 million.
I'm sorry.
I'm
You
sorry, I'm still
mentioned that his-
talking.
Okay, go ahead.
So I pulled the data for 40 housing authorities across the country, looking at executive compensation, number of units, and budget. If you look at SNRHA and you look at the peers that are around us, the executive director of SNRHA is the highest paid with the exception of Columbus, but I would argue that their budget that he manages is twice as big as ours, right? So there's a reason for that. Houston, which is one of our peers, they also got a Choice Neighborhood Grant. Their executive director makes $278,000 and manages more units and has a budget that's slightly bigger than ours. So across the board, if you don't want to use the school board superintendent as example or our own city managers who are making $200,000, if you look at our peers by all of the accounts and the metrics, I think the executive compensation as it appears in the contract is very fair and reasonable and reflects the number of units and the budget that we have to manage. This executive director will be the 8th highest paid in the country.
And I got the newest from 2023, and he doesn't fall 10, 12. It's 20 people, 20 organizations within this, right around us, where the executive director makes more money than Mr. Jordan.
what does that say he makes?
It says from, and this is from HUD, from 2023. And I highlighted it, so you can take a look and they can make a copy of it. So everybody can have one.
What does that show he makes?
It shows that he makes 300 and, what he makes?
Yes.
It shows that he makes proposed making 355. That's what it shows.
Not proposed. What does that show he made?
Well, this doesn't show what he makes.
Okay.
It shows what everybody around him makes.
Well, anyway, a couple other facts.
Well,
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead and speak.
well, as the employee of this board, I, as an employer, would like to say I am willing to find other sources of income. I'm doing my own homework and research because I want to make sure not just that Mr. Jordan gets his salary. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about getting more revenue so he can house more people. That's what I'm talking about. So at the end of the day, the whole system needs to be looked at, and we know that our residents is the #1 factor. So I'm willing to do the research to make sure my director has more revenue to do more work.
That wasn't the point I was going to make. I was waiting for you to acknowledge me, sir.
That's fine. You're acknowledged. You can go ahead and speak.
Well, there's a couple of things that you said, the numbers and the managing units, hell, I'm sorry, we could find somebody to manage the units. That's not what I'm talking about. His skill set brings millions of dollars in that nobody else has. That's the key. See, the problem with what you're doing is his skill set from a standpoint of marketing and sales. If he got a percentage of what he brought in, we'd be paying him millions of dollars. And we wouldn't worry about what somebody else was doing because he would have earned it. And the problem is that you want to put him in a box and say, well, so-and-so down the street that's managing the city, what monies did they bring in other than their salary that they're receiving? Since I've been here, this man has brought in over let's just say $150 million. And he gets no percentage of that. We're just paying him a small piece. So what if he's the highest paid? He earned it. Now, you brought up Houston. I was fortunate enough to go to a couple of different conferences and had an opportunity and Mr. Jordan doesn't even know this, had an opportunity to eat lunch with one of the board members from Houston. Mr. Jordan will tell you that he interviewed for the Houston job and they hired somebody else. Since then, they fired that person. I know because I sat and talked with the guy. They said to me, you know what? The worst decision we made was not hiring Mr. Jordan and hiring somebody else. Now we're back in the pool. It's costing us, and this is key, it's costing us $500,000 to find somebody that we think might do the job. Now listen, we got somebody on the floor doing the job. Why would we chance losing him based on a few dollars? And the bottom line is that he's doing he's been not a, you know, and I tend to get a little, I get a little emotional when people are not, when you say you're going to compensate somebody for what they did, then compensate them. Don't cheap it out because you're looking down the road because we don't know what it is. Because the bottom line is we don't know what's going to happen in 2 years. You're right. We have no idea. So my suggestion is that we look at this piece, because I had no problem with the first year of the contract. I don't have no problem with that because it's 10%. But years 2 and 3, I got a problem with it because it's not enough. So why don't we look at every project, as this young woman that said, if we spread it out for 5 years. Don't give the last 2 years, we put no numbers in. We see what the state of the board is, what the state of the economy is, and then we can determine if Mr. Jordan has earned from the things that he does, if he's accomplished what we set out in goals and objectives those last 2 years. And the board, by its discretion, determines what he gets the last 2 years. And the 5 years then gives him an opportunity to complete what he started. Because if I'm not mistaken, or even you folks get 4 years of being elected and have to run. You can't you can't institute programs where you only have a short period of time and the pendulum is swinging over your neck and you don't have an opportunity to look forward. Now this man's created it. He's created a lot, and the facts are that we've moved from just teetering on average to move to excellent. And we're at excellent, so why would we go back?
All right, Mr. Blackman, there's a motion and a second on the floor.
Mr. Church comment, but I'd like to have some discussion if I could, Chair.
All right.
Okay, so I've listened and y'all have good points, first of all. And I don't, in this case, like being in the middle as an elected, but let me tell you, I think we need to just break it down really quick and have some legitimate discussion so that we can come to the ability to know how we're voting. Because I'm still on the fence after hearing the comments. So what I'd like to break down is, we're all good with a salary, correct? In general, does anybody have anything else to say about salary? Okay. My understanding is that the things, and what I think is important is to figure out, when someone is your employee, what's important to them. So what I'm understanding is that term is really important to Mr. Jordan, because he's only going to be around for another how many years, and probably doesn't want to pick up and move after a 3-year period and try to start something else when he's close to retirement. That's just, I can understand that. And the other thing is just being allowed to consult and train outside of his employment with SNRHA. I think the bonus is less of an importance, if I'm correct, to him. So, and I'm not here to negotiate for him, but I am going to tell you that it impacted me a little bit in, we probably can dispense with the merit pay. I just don't think important. And then we don't have to be on different sides about merit pay, meaning no merit pay. I get your point, but that's not what's important. The way to do that is allowing him a 5-year term and allowing him to go out, get rid of the exclusive employment. I think Mr. Jordan is talented enough and has enough integrity and character that he's not going to shortchange SNRHA. I believe that with everything in me. As elected officials in the city of Henderson, all of the other city council members have consulting companies on the side. I'm the only one that does not. But it's not because I can't give my focus to the city. It's for a whole nother reason. I just disagree with electeds having that. But my point is, since merit pay is something that we're hinging on, where we are divided, if that was off the table, then we're not divided, because I'd like to see our board not be divided. And allowing him to do that and giving him a term of 5 years to finish, because I'm with that. We get 4 years and then we have to run, and it's a nightmare, and we have a lot of things that we try to finish up. So I agree with that. But that would be my suggestion, because we're good on the salary. Get rid of the merit pay altogether. He can have his COLA, okay? That's my suggestion, and where I'm leaning. I think it's a good win-win.
Got it.
And that's where I'd like to get.
Got it.
And I want to thank, really quick, I do want to thank Commissioner Bruni, who has worked extremely hard to try to find a middle ground, and I appreciate, because she's put in hours.
Okay, Councilman Churchill.
Thank you. I don't know, maybe I'm on the wrong board. I'm listening to,
Never mind, I said it wrong.
She meant over, sorry. She meant bonus, get away to bonus.
bonus, okay.
I'm sorry, get rid of the bonus. Never mind, I understand.
You know, when I started doing what I do in North Las Vegas, we were $150 million in the hole. And to say that I was the one who helped to get it out, very small percentage, because it takes a village of employees and staff to do that. When my colleague mentioned that she's the only one who doesn't have a business on the side, well, the only thing I have on the side is a non, in Henderson, yes. But no. I'm making just a comparison with me. The only thing I have on the side is a nonprofit that I started for animals and for veterans. I have a half a person as a liaison covering over 80,000 people in North Las Vegas. That's and I just recently got that. Before that, from 2009, it was pretty basically myself and my other colleagues dealing in the same arena. The reason why I do what I do and the reason why I accepted this position is because, first of all, it's needed. It's needed for our community. Mr. Jordan's a very nice person, extremely nice. He returns phone calls, which some of my colleagues, my elected colleagues, don't even return my phone calls, which I think is very disrespectful, all right? But nobody enters to what we're doing over here, I would hope not, just for the sake of a percentage of a COLA. I think what we miss all the time is the importance for all of you and people that are beyond us over here that we serve is public service. If you base what you're doing strictly on the amount of money that you can gain every year if you're doing a good job, then I think you're in the wrong business, and I wouldn't want to elect you either. So that's not the case with Mr. Jordan, okay? I think there's a lot of uncertainty going on in the country right now. You know, I make $49,000 a year. When I hear 355 or 330,000, you know, I can't imagine that. I thought the calculated times, 12 months a year, So it isn't about money maybe for me. It's about the good things I have the ability to do in the position that I have. And I think Mr. Jordan is of the same thinking. So when I hear my good colleagues over here saying that he needs to get more money, like someone who works in the sports field because he's bringing in a lot of money, well, don't forget, all of those people who pay for those tickets are paying a hell of a lot more now because that guy is making a hell of a lot more himself. So if Mr. Jordan thinks that that money is so important for him to keep this job, I think he's in the wrong arena. So that's my position. That's my position.
Can we have, we've heard from everybody, we haven't heard from you, Mr. McCurdy. I'd like to hear your opinion on it.
And I think it's about fairness, just for the record. We need to just get to a fair medium.
So we're not going to negotiate the contract from the dais. The contract has already been negotiated. We don't have to, I don't have to speak about how I feel about Director Jordan or the work that he's done since we've gotten here. And all of you have very valid points. But the reality is, we are here today as a result of conversations and negotiations that were had. If the board feels like we're not ready to make that decision, my feeling is that we table this, go back to the negotiation table, and come back when we're ready. Because if we're divided like this, with all that we have to do, with all the work that has been done, we need to go in the mirror and check ourselves. So my motion would be, well, if we can vote down your motion, go back to the negotiation table, have another motion to go back to the negotiation table, and everybody comes back ready to support what comes back, because what's going on right now is not what it is. That's my opinion, that's my feeling. So I think, let's vote down your motion, and let's table it and let them go back to the negotiation table, because we're not going to negotiate this contract from the dais.
Chair, although we need to remember that open meeting law is what directs us to do so. So I'm not suggesting that, and I agree with you. I think it does need to go the direction you just have spoke. But when there's so much difference in opinion, this is where it's discussed. So I'm not trying to negotiate the contract, but I am trying to come to a consensus, so I just wanted to make that clear. Thank you.
From listening, I don't think that we're going to come, this will not be a consensus vote. There are multiple things that have been said, eliminating merit or eliminating bonus, at least from my estimation of what I heard, getting what the employees should get. Now we're talking about allowing for outside employment. Those things need to go back, sit with our attorney, with our chair and vice chair, and come back with something. And if whatever we come back with, folks don't like it, they'll just take their vote.
So I understand. Who, the chair and the vice chair are going to do the negotiating with the attorney. Well, they both share the same side. So how's that a fair negotiation if you don't have someone to represent the other side? That's not negotiation.
You have
That's ordered. So
Chair?
it should be somebody that disagrees with the way they want to move in that negotiation session. That's all I'm saying. I agree with you, but it can't be the same. I mean, we'll come back next month and we'll be right back where we started because the few of us that don't agree, we don't have opposite. I mean, there's no opposite. There's two people that agree and the attorney. Well, the attorney can't take any side. He's just representing the board. But we do need another voice that's not the same. So I suggest they follow what you're talking about in terms of going back, but that there be a third person from a different perspective that can bring a different perspective and why that person and this board believes it should be different.
I have a question. Who's the negotiating team? Who makes up the negotiating team?
It was the chair and the vice chair. And I just for the accuracy, I don't think it's accurate to suggest that the chair and the vice chair were on the same page. This was a consensus and a negotiation.
Well, I think that it's pretty obvious they're the same team when all the rest of us over here think completely different than what you're saying, but you're representing me, and you can't represent me. You can't because that is not my position, or what am I here for? I think the negotiating team, if we're going to deal with this issue, then let's all of us have a meeting. Let's all of us have a meeting, because you can't present my position. How you present you'll come out here and say, okay, we agree, he's going to do it, blah, blah. I don't feel that way.
Are we ready to take a vote then today? Is that what we're suggesting?
On the contract, are we?
Want to take a vote?
What, a vote on what?
Want to take a vote on the motion and the properly second motion? Do we want to vote on the contract that has been motioned and properly seconded? Do we want to take that vote right now? All right, so
they're not ready for it.
there's a motion and second to approve the contract. All in favor?
The motion, cast your vote.
So.
All in favor, yes.
So right now, the motion.
The motion is to
approve the contract. So what we're going to do is we're going to have Commissioner Bruni restate her motion, rescind and restate her motion.
I don't understand that now. Are you saying the motion?
Let me help explain this.
Go ahead.
If I could, Commissioners, good afternoon, Commissioners. There's a few things that should be explained at this point. Number one, Commissioner Desmond, your point about a team versus a no bargaining team, if this discussion is going to happen with all members of the board, then it's subject to the open meetings law, and we're right back here at this dais. That's number one. Number two, if this motion that's currently on the floor were to be approved, it still doesn't result in a contract, because at the end of the day, Mr. Jordan has to sign the contract. It's simply a contract now that the board has approved to go to Mr. Jordan. That's it. Now, I will also explain that Mr. Chairman Sagerblum and Vice Chair Bruni were not on the same page. Let me just make sure that's clear for everyone's benefit. They were not on the same page in terms of compensation. In fact, they weren't on the same page in terms of duration. So I wanted everyone to know that as well. This was not an echo chamber where Commissioner Vice Chair Bruni and Chairman Sagerblum were just saying the same things. That's not what happened. You're correct, Commissioner Desmond. I'm the agency's attorney. I'm the board's attorney. Mr. Jordan was at a meeting, only one that I was in, and he represented himself. And he chose not to bring counsel because he believed that between those discussions, something would come back before the board that perhaps the board would find palatable, and I think those were thoughts shared by Vice Chair Bruni and Chairman Sagerblum. They weren't all on the same page. So what you have before you is something that was done at arm's length, which we consider where you have different sides trying to come to a conclusion. What can be done, and this is consistent with what Commissioner McCurdy said, what can be done is that the chair has the ability, pursuant to the bylaws, Section 3, to appoint an ad hoc committee. And he can select who's on that committee, and that committee could then work together to come up with some proposed contract to bring back before the board. That can happen as well. One other thing that I think the board is missing, if you look at the contract, the form contract that was attached to as a backup to this agenda item, it says at Article 4 that Mr. Jordan can provide consulting services as long as there's not a conflict and it gets written approval from the board. So this board hasn't prevented him from doing so. He has to bring it back before the board and then get authority to do so. So I don't want anyone on this board to think that he was foreclosed from doing any consulting work. The actual agreement says he can, as long as there's no conflict and he gets written approval from this board. So that's always been available to him. This thought of him not being able to do something, I think that may have come up just through conversation, but it's not borne out in the document. So I wanted to correct some of the misperceptions that the board, I think, has, number one. Number two, Mr. McCurdy is correct, or Commissioner McCurdy is correct. This is something typically done either in an ad hoc arrangement, with the selection being made by the chair, and he has that authority under the bylaws. And I will tell you, the predecessor, Commissioner McCurdy, and I, I tipped my hat to him. The last time, this was actually, a result was created during the board meeting. That worked, but I will tell you that was a very protracted board meeting. And I can understand his desire not to see that play out again today. So you have options. There is a motion on the board, in front of everybody right now that can be ruled upon.
Mr. Parker, since you're in the role of clarifying, could you please clarify the earlier conversation where some folks suggested that we are reducing Mr. Jordan's compensation? So can you provide some context around that, please?
Of course. So his current contract value is roughly $338, $337 plus or minus. This new proposed draft contract would result in roughly 5% above that, $355,000. So it's not rolling back, it's an increase. Additionally, the way this draft is set up, he would be getting another 5% on top of that, which is consistent with this year's COLA for all employees. So that's there, so that's in place. And I think everyone, from what I've heard in DS, agrees with the first year. I think, and I will tell you, that was different than what Vice Chair Bruni and Chairman Sagerblum. They weren't in agreement in this first year compensation, be it the increase or the COLA. This was a discussion that went back and forth. Just to, again, impress upon you, this was not an echo chamber between the two of them. The second year, again, is an increase, which differs, is consistent with the current employee COLA and merit. The COLA is the same. The merit differs only in that the employees can get up to 5% in the second year and up to 5% in the third year. The way the current draft contract, he could only get 2.5%. So the total increase for an employee that does very well would be 8% and 7% respectively for the second and third year. He would be stuck at 5.5% and 5% for the second and third year. What I think I've heard some of the board members suggest, that he be treated similarly to the other, all employees, which would allow him to get 8% for the second year and 7.5% in the third year. So it's really a 2.5% difference is what you're speaking about. So I think that clarifies all of the compensation points, Vice Chair Bruni.
Thank you. And can I ask one more clarifying question? Because I believe the first contract, we were in the middle of that when I joined the board. Sure. The compensation that the executive director received in the last contract period, that exceeded what the employees received, or were employees also allowed the COLAs and merit and bonus at the same level that the executive director received?
Okay, so that's a little more winded, a longer winded response, and you may not have been a part of this, so I apologize, commissioners, up front if this takes a little longer. I'll make it as brief as possible. If you recall, there was a comp and class study done, compensation and classification study done. In fact, Ms. White's predecessor was a part of that. She's no longer here, but that's what occurred. And that was a promise made to the employees, and it was done, and several employees got an increased salary. Mr. Jordan delayed, and the board agreed, delayed his evaluation to see that comp and class study done first. And so the employees got increased salaries, and after that, the second round of union negotiations occurred, again delaying his evaluation, and that's when we had the additional COLA and merit benefits. So as a result, instead of doing annual performances for Mr. Jordan the first year and the second year, you did 2 at the one time, if you remember, if everyone remembers that. And then you did the third one late, which was at the end of last year. So that's how all of that went down. And some of it, as you said, Vice Chair Bruni, predated your membership on this board. So for everyone's benefit, that's what happened. And that's why so much happened in the last couple of years for Mr. Jordan's salary increases and evaluations. Does that answer the question, Commissioner Bruni? Perfect. If there's something else, let me know. I'll respond, of course.
So Commissioner Cox, you still want to hold it?
I'm sorry, do I still want to, what?
Hold the vote on the contract.
My concern is that I really would like to see our board, and my intent was not to, and I get where you're coming from, Commissioner Curdy, but I want you to know personally, it wasn't my intent to do that, but thank you for bringing it up, and I'm reflected on that. But my goal was just to try to bring us together to a common consensus that would help our board. That is my number one concern, as far as really truly being able, because we're opposite at the moment. And I would like to see if something could be better that would bring it together. I have no skin in this game. I just want to do what's right, and at this point, I'll tell you, I don't know what that is. You know, I know none of you do. I'm just saying, this is,
All right,
yeah.
we have to vote down okay, so there's a motion pending, all in favor, no, all opposed, nay. Yes, so anyway, the motion is to approve the contract. So we're going to vote against approving the contract, all right? All right, everybody voted to approve, to disapprove the contract. So now, Commissioner McCurdy, you have a motion.
Yeah, my motion is to deny the contract. Well, my motion is to deny the contract, number one. And my direction would be to go back to the table, when, with the chair, we all go back and negotiate something that's, I guess, more palatable for everybody.
Could that motion include, Mr. Chair, you forming an ad hoc committee to discuss it?
If he wants
Could
to.
be a part of that motion? Could that be a part of that motion, please? Is that possible? Is that possible?
You can make a motion to amend his motion.
Okay. I make a motion that we amend the current motion on the floor that include, you want to, it's got to be voted on?
All right,
Okay.
all right, let's just make a motion on Commissioner McCurdy's motion.
All right.
So the process will be to either support, not taking a vote on the contract, denying the contract today, and then if there's another motion on the board, then we'll have to take another vote on his amendment.
I thought we just voted to deny the contract.
No, we haven't tried it. That's what we're going to do now.
All right, there's a motion to deny the contract.
Aye.
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 Okay. Okay, the contract's denied.
Now wait for you, sir, to make the motion about, well, no, I'm amended with the,
Well,
It's too late to amend.
yeah, the motion's denied, so you can make if you have a motion you want to make, you can make it.
okay, I make a motion to the chair that we go back and renegotiate, and that the chair establishes an ad hoc committee to come together so that we can, in unison, come to some agreement that we can all agree upon at our next sitting.
I second.
All right, there's a motion that the chair make an ad hoc committee to negotiate with Mr. Jordan. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Nay. So so that's unanimous. All right, so we're back to the table, and I'll form an ad hoc committee in the meantime. But I do have a comment. The reality is, this is a PERS contract. Because of the PERS, the cost to us is 30% more. So basically, this is going to cost us $500,000 a year. Secondly, the president is not Joe Biden. The president is Trump. Trump is going to cut housing money. We're not going to have a nickel going forward. So we're maybe fighting over spilled milk because there won't be anything to bonus about. But the truth is, we need to be looking forward to what's going to happen to us as an agency when they start to cut HUD and start to screw us. So that's my concern is if we had all the money in the world, we'd give it away. We don't have that money. We have to start husbanding our money because we are going to be in for a world of hurt the next 4 years, in my opinion.
Can I ask for a point of clarification, Chair? Based on what you just said, which is very important to take that in consideration, if this contract, when it's resolved, not if, when it's resolved, what is built into the contract that protects us from that? Like if something changes?
There isn't anything, and that's the question about the bonus. And maybe if we're going to have a bonus, we can put in there some language about the budget, the federal budget, and so we can't bonus away money, but we can talk about that.
Chairman Sagerblum, can I address that, please? Yes. So Vice Chair Bruni actually had that consideration, had that thought. And you may have forgotten, Chairman Sagerblum, but we discussed that. If you look at the draft contract, which is attached to this, I added that language. Under the evaluation section, which is a performance evaluation section, which is Article 5, the last sentence says it's a condition that the agency has the financial ability to pay such bonus. It's written into it. I made sure, again, I'm the board's counsel and the agency's counsel. I made sure we would not put ourselves in a financial position where we're paying something we can't afford. So that was something I discussed with both Chairman Sagerblum and perhaps more conversations than she wanted to Vice Chair Bruni. So it's in here already.
Yeah, but the bonus that some of the commissioners are talking about is not in the contract right now. So,
Well, it is. It's covered.
Oh, but that's for the third year.
No, that's for the end of the entire term of the contract. Yeah, we had it covered.
Can I ask one final question, Mr. Parker?
Sure.
So I know that if we approve a contract, whatever terms of the contract we agree on are retroactive back to January per the contract.
That's correct.
But what if we cannot come to terms and agree on a contract?
Well, it will continue going until we do, because no one from the Diaz has said, we don't want Executive Director Jordan here. That's not happening. So we've put in place right now a continuation of his current salary based on a continuation of good faith negotiations. One thing I wanted to say to Commissioner Cox, I should have said it a few moments ago, when we had this discussion, Mr. Jordan also agreed that he didn't want to take a bonus that the agency couldn't afford. So that was a discussion that was had in front of Vice Chair Bruni and Chairman Sagerblum, just so everyone's aware of that.
All right, moving on. New business. Anyone have any new business?
Yes, I would like to see, I've been thinking, I always mention the youth, and it just came to me, I don't know if we can work together to sponsor some type of, what does affordable housing mean to me? I would like the students of Clark County School District, wherever, charter schools, wherever, a letter writing campaign, maybe we can even give an essay contest, because I think everybody that's higher up in leadership, especially in the Congress and representative, I want to inundate them with all the letters, because when you unhouse or you fire or terminate someone, you unhouse a child, potentially. So we're going to have a lot of homeless youth. Because every time you take parents off a job or you change the momentum of the economy, you affect a child in some shape, form, or fashion. I would love for the students here in the Valley to create some type of initiation, art contest, something. What does affordable housing mean to me? And maybe this can get in the right ear so they can understand we cannot afford any cuts. We're trying to create affordable housing, and maybe the young people might have a better idea how to do it. At least their voices could be heard. Thank you.
Chair.
Thank you. Yes.
I'd like you, sir, to task, and maybe you're already doing it, but the housing tax credits, which are being utilized across the country in terms of how you're creating a situation, because we get about, I think I read we get about 95% of what HUD gives us, and building our portfolio outside of that would induce us to have tax credits given to organizations and companies that we could partner with, if I understand it correctly, in building affordable, low-income housing, so that would be a part of our portfolio, which wouldn't be a part of what we get from HUD, nor would we have to report to HUD on based on that. Is that correct? Am I reading that correctly?
Yes, you are. In the last 20, 25 years, there has been no public housing built in this country. HUD has forced us to move away from public housing. Conversation around HUD units and things of that nature are things of yesterday. Our goal should be to become as far dependent from HUD as we possibly can. We're doing that here. I like to recommend that in a future meeting, Mr. Chairman, we have someone come in and just talk about tax credits. And also in a future meeting, we'll talk about how the housing authority is being ushered away from being a housing authority. The work we do with RAD, project-based vouchers, the things that we do to rapidly remove ourselves from housing authorities, from the housing authority title, is what we do. And that's what's important. And as we look around the country, we see housing authorities that say, I have this much reliance on HUD, and I have this much reliance on the monies I go out and make, that, to your point, HUD can't touch. So yes, we'll have a presentation. Maybe Frank can have the Praxis folks, who are financial advisors, come in and just actually talk about the advantage we have in going in that direction, and the fact that with low-income tax credits, which is one of the vehicles to build affordable housing, puts us in a better position. Yes, sir.
Commissioner Blackman, one other thing I would ask you to take a look at more recently, and I know this because we represent housing authorities in South Carolina. The South Carolina legislature has put in place tax credits set-asides just for public housing authorities. I think Tennessee is doing the same, so that's something else we should probably look at doing. I think it was it last year, Lee, or 2 years ago, when we had the other forum? 2 years. Yeah, one of the speakers came from was the chairperson of the Housing Authority for the City of Charleston, and he came in and actually sat in that forum, and he was one of the motivators of the South Carolina legislature doing exactly that.
I just recently read an article, that's why I'm asking you. They have I think the first debate in San Francisco, they have a large a contingent of people come together to talk about how to use, going forward, using tax credits to grow your portfolio outside of what HUD gives us in terms of how we build units, what we're doing with affordable housing, how we help people that didn't even get a thought of owning a home, now becoming homeowners. That's the kind of direction that Mr. Jordan has brought to us, and that's what I would hope that we can continue to do with that kind of information.
Yeah, we can get a full presentation on that.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
I'm sorry, I just have one more comment. I have someone in the audience that is a product of this lovely system. My son, could you please stand up? I'm sorry. Please, son. Thank you. He's visiting from Iraq. He's working in Baghdad right now. I want to thank Fred Herron because he came here on a summer program. He came here and he worked in the finance office. He also worked with KME Architect, and he's looking to do more in affordable housing. So I really wanted to just say, thank you all for the opportunity, the policies that go into place, because there are success stories And far too often, we just think of housing people, but you are changing somebody's life. That's what you're doing. Thank you.
And please come back to Las Vegas. We need you.
I appreciate you. Hello, good morning, Chairman Board. I appreciate your guys'
Just so for the record, this is the start of public comment.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you for having me come up real quick. I just want to say my name is Xavier Burkett. I am a product of this system of Southern Nevada Regional Housing Authority, and I've seen the benefits of it, for me at least, and I want to be able to try to give back. So I am interested in trying to partner in with you guys eventually, one day, so I can be part of the solution of affordable housing. That's it. Thank you. All right.
I just wanted to make a comment to you, young man. When you first stood up, you said that, you were apologetic about taking over the meeting and everything. And I just want you in the future to feel very comfortable because your mother does it all the time.
Hey, I know. All right. Again, thank you. I appreciate you guys.
All right, this is public comment. Anyone wishing to speak on any item or anything want to come forward? And I have cards here, so if you want to start. Makisha Todd, is that?
Thank you for letting me come in and speak. I'm nervous, I'm sorry, because I
I
didn't think it was
apologize,
going to
but
be a big meeting.
State your name and.
Makisha Todd.
Okay, that was right.
So, these situations took place years ago, and unfortunately, I'm just figuring out what to do and who to come to and talk to. So I just, let me start off by saying in 2015, my caseworker violated my rights here in this housing authority. So I brought it to the attention of some head. I don't have my paperwork in front of me, so I'm sorry. I didn't know it was a meeting today. I came in the office for something else, and I was told you should come here. So I do have paperwork, though. I do. I went to the Flamingo office. It was closed at the time, and then I came here, and they gave me directors and higher-up supervisors.
Well, let me just ask you, so would you be willing to come back with the paperwork and meet with staff?
Absolutely.
All right, let's do that, Mr. Jordan. So reach out to them, they'll arrange a meeting, you can come back with the paperwork, and then if you have problems, come to our next meeting.
It's next week?
No, our next meeting, next month.
Next month. Okay, and number two, I have a no-cause eviction for no reason. I have an adopted child that I adopted that's about to graduate in the next few weeks. I have a mom that I just found outside on Christmas night, literally living in the streets, and she is mentally ill. So I came down here and I asked, can I add my mom to, excuse me, because I'm emotional, because she's missing right now, because the no-cause eviction put us in the streets. And so my mom walked away from the area that we live in, someone's house that I'm staying at, and I can't find her. So this morning I just did a police report. But I'm just saying this to say that this no-cause eviction was nothing that I did wrong. And so now I'm having a hard time finding something. So I asked the supervisor this morning, Sabrina, can someone in this housing authority point me to where they do second chances? Because I'm about to lose my voucher, and we're going to be homeless. So I just need some direction. I feel like the listing that they have here to look for places is not accurate, because the dates are old, the people want high money, and what I'm getting is a lot of people, if you have Section 8, you have to make $4,000 a month. Well, if I made that much money, I wouldn't qualify for this program. So it's not, to me, here in Nevada, it's not enough housing to take this voucher. So you have a hard time when it's time to move. And I never knew about a no-cause eviction, so I don't understand why I even have this on my record like this. So now it's stopping me, and this is going to be a problem. So I need help, and that's why I'm here. But I am definitely here because of the caseworker violated my rights, and I definitely have proof. And I also went to the headquarters when I felt like I was not getting the help here when I exposed this. I went to San Francisco. I was told, Ms. Todd, you do not have to call us back. We received all your faxes. It cost me money to send that stuff. And they said, we promise we will get back to you. Well, I was almost murdered here at that time. So that sidetracked me from this whole situation. So now it's years later. And I'm thinking, okay, what do I do? Because I still feel to this day that my rights was violated and I should be heard.
I apologize. Your time is up, but
Okay.
we'll meet with you. Do you know when the voucher is supposed to expire?
I was told I have until June 26th.
Okay, all right. Well, that gives us time to work on this, but
Okay.
your voucher's not going to go away. We'll find something for you.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
So who do I talk to?
Donna McKinnon?
It's hard to follow all that you guys been talking about lately, so. My name's Donna McKinnon. I live at Sartini Plaza. And what I would like to talk about, in January 25, this past January, I became president of the resident council. And now I lost my train of thought, I'm sorry. In February, we had a nomination for the president and treasurer and a second vice. Okay, Donald Chapman, he was there. And I know two people had gone up and told him, or was given him their resignation from the council. He told them to just hold off, and he'll let them know in a few days what's going to happen. Meanwhile, in February, there had been a investigation on me, which I don't know why, don't know what it was about, never was told anything, and that is when I was told that I'm no longer on the board anymore of the resident council, per Donald. So I don't know how he could just say, well, you're off the resident council. It has to go in front of everybody. And he never had no meeting about it, nothing. So I don't know how he can control that. And I don't know what else that there should be done about it. And another thing is, there hasn't been any training whatsoever for any of the councils since 2017. Yeah, and you guys are giving, what, $12,000 to be training people every year? So where's that money going? And that's all.
All right, you want to speak to someone?
Sure.
Okay, Mr. Jordan will find somebody. We can talk about the resident council, who Donald is,
Okay.
and we'll figure out what's going on. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I was going to save Phyllis for last, so we have Skipper Torwin. Skipper Torwin. I apologize, I didn't recognize who you were, but you're
Okay.
Skipper.
My name is Skipper Turner. I live across the street from you here. Been there for 10 years. I'm here to thank you for this man right here, for hiring him years ago. He actually came to a meeting when he first came. He saw the condition of the place, the water running down the wall, the holes in the upholstery in our community center. He made him fix it. We appreciate it. We appreciate, I think I'm at senior affordable housing. I'm not sure. But I don't care. I appreciate y'all. Keep up the good work. And Mr. Bowtie over here, Mr. Stafford, is that right? Thank you. Thank you for your help. He's a good helper.
Thank you, Mr. Bowtie.
Yeah,
Is that like Mr.
the guy
Bojangles?
got class, man, you know. He has a tie. Thank you, girls, mister, appreciate y'all. But, now, I'm in affordable housing and I'm on Social Security like most of the old people over here, or they're on disability. But we appreciate it because affordable housing helps us. We worked our whole life for Social Security. We don't want to pay it in rent. Most of the old people's money goes for rent. I'm blessed. I appreciate y'all. We appreciate the helpers here. He needs more. I don't know if he needs more money, but he's damn sure worth it to me.
Well, hopefully the president doesn't cut our Social Security. All right, Phyllis, you're up.
Phyllis Carpenter, 5200 Alpine Place. Okay, so last month they had, or the month before last, there was a thing on the apprenticeship. I asked Ms. Tucker, she said that they was accepting applications right then. So I called and they said there was also a new website. You can't find any of your emails on the website, as well as she told me that the apprenticeship wouldn't be, you wouldn't be able to hand in an application until the end of the year. Okay, so moving on. I asked the apprentice girl that works on our property if she was under a collective bargaining agreement. That's all I asked her. And she didn't know what one was. Okay, so I received another 30-day, actually I'm on a 5-day unlawful detainer right now because of the lies that your staff came up with. There's no way to file a complaint against staff that makes it any further than their office. This is an email that I emailed this to the manager. She emailed her boss back saying, can somebody please help her? Then she proceeded to print these up and post them on residents' doors. That's that's a violation of my privacy to begin with, and it proves it because it says Outlook right at the top. They tried to put this in my new 30-day notice that I posted these to the residents' doors, but how would I get into May's email to even post these? Okay, another thing is, I went to do my energy assistance last month, and this is the normal release that I sign for the Housing Authority to be able to get any information that they need from whoever. And this is the release of information consent statement. It says, I hereby authorize and direct any federal, state, or local agency, or organization, business, or individual to release to or obtain from Southern Nevada Regional Housing Authority any information, materials pertinent to my participation in the Housing Assistance Program. That may relate to psychological, social, medical, financial, educational, or psychiatric information. Yeah, that's not even legal, and it says it right underneath it because it says, I understand my records are protected under federal regulations governing. I mean, why would they even hand that to me to sign? And she thought I was dumb enough to sign it, but I went through and I read it and I crossed certain things. Once I started crossing stuff out, she couldn't use it. But that's the same day that they went and printed up this email and posted it to residents' doors, as well as when I was in the putting in my application, they had security come up behind and stand at the door. That's intimidation and retaliation. And that's what this eviction is over, is because they failed to fix the apartment. Last month, they offered me a transfer. This month, now I'm being abusive and disruptive, which the Housing Occupancy Guideline book for public housing says you have to have a hearing committee, not just one officer, a whole committee. And there has to be some way to appeal their decision. And yet, I didn't get that. They made up their own new grievance procedure for me to be a part of. And that's not even legal.
All right. Seeing no one else, we'll close the public hearing and meeting is adjourned. Thank you.